I just saw your screenshot.
Hello and welcome to Devcast Ops. This is going to be a bit of a rogue one. James has left us alone for an evening, so we're kind of going to go a little bit off course. We've been away for a couple of weeks because it was HashiDays 2 weeks ago, and then we had a couple of personal engagements to attend to last week. So it's been a little while since we've talked on the Mondays. But yeah, so we're going to have a little bit of chat about what we did at HashiConf. But in the meantime, Wally has thought it'd be fun to challenge me to a chess game. And I haven't played chess online for a while. I think the last time I played chess was in the office. So how well this goes will be interesting to see, but we'll get there.
Yeah, so about that. Oh, wow.
Yeah, they can't see the recursive stream.
Oh, okay. I was just gonna say that is interesting.
Still trying to keep some form of professionalism.
But this is what happens when James is not here.
If you ping me a link, we can kind of talk about some of the stuff that we're doing. Or do I need to have you pinged it to me already?
Not yet. I'm still setting this up. I've there's a link here, and then just give me a second. Rated. Should we do a rated?
I think I put intermediate or something in my rating, so I don't have like the bottom ranking, so it won't mess with your score or whatever it is.
All right, that's fine then. Let's do rated. Waiting for opening. I have done it, so you just have to click on the link.
Cool. 10 minutes. You're not going to go for a long game. I don't know.
It's 1 hour.
Ah, okay.
Same amount for the stream.
You should be able to see it now, or is it coming through? I have so many windows open that everything's elsewhere.
I don't know what you're sharing. Hold on.
No, I think it
seems like you're sharing BD something. Let me just see. Twitch.
I think, this one's picking up wrong. Give me a second. I think I need to do this slightly differently. Touch screen. Boop. And there we go. We had infinite us, but now we can see chess. Does it mean to start?
Hold on. Who's meant to start? You, yeah. I mean, you know the rules.
I know how to chess. Yeah, so I guess while we play, what were your highlights from HashiDays? What did you enjoy?
Well, I enjoyed the social. That was
social.
Nice. Yeah, the day before before HashiDays, that was really nice. As in getting to know all the other ambassadors and finding out what they do, and that's quite exciting. And you?
Yeah, I think it was really nice meeting a lot of people and kind of talking about random stuff, just chatting bollocks in sort of about PKI certificates and things like that. But yeah.
Oh yeah, we met somebody that said he loves PKI. I found that so strange.
Yeah, it's all about like trust chains and stuff like that.
Yeah. That is interesting. Hold on. As you can see, multitasking is not that great for me. But yeah, but the HashiDays itself, it was nice. I mean, most of the stuff that they mentioned we already knew. So,
yeah, I think some of it we'll have a play around with in a little bit more detail going forwards. Like there was some stuff with open sessions for Boundary, so you don't have to put in like boundary credentials, just log in and you have that transparent stuff, which looks really interesting. I think Boundary is one of the things that we'll probably want to get into the stack next that we play with.
Sorry, I just had donut before we started, so Yeah, Boundary is definitely exciting because I didn't know anything about it. I mean, I knew of it, but never really touched it until a few days ago, really, because I joined the private beta for the transparent session.
Yes.
And setting it up was a pain for me initially because I just thought you put because I set up HCP Boundary and then I installed uh, Boundary on my target host, as in on my laptop and on my Raspberry Pi, and I thought that's it. So bear in mind, I didn't read the documentation. I just assumed it would just work together like this. Um,
What were
yeah.
the bits behind the scenes that you needed to kind of put together to get it working? Because when it's working, the demos I've seen of it, it's just so seamless. You log
Oh
into
yeah, it
Boundary
is.
and then it just
It just
works.
exactly. So technically, because I'm not using their demo target, I I was trying to do it internally. So it turns out I needed to actually create a worker that would be like that will create a tunnel from HCP boundary to my worker. And then that way, boundary will be I'll be able then to use boundary within my internal network, which was quite interesting because James was the one that actually let me know because I was like, oh, I'm struggling with this thing. Did you get it to work externally and internet? It was like, yeah. I was like, huh, interesting. Why is it not working for me? It was like, oh, did you set up a worker? I was like, what? Worker? So I went on to look at it because I already have in home lab. So I use my uh, Portainer to deploy the worker, which is quite interesting actually, because it turns out when you do HCP boundary, it creates a cluster for you, right? And then as part of that, you also get workers. I think I got like 2 workers, so I just use one of them to then to spin up a Docker container worker and then linked it up. Actually, I don't know if it's called linking up or just spinning up because then after spinning it up and then creating it using boundary, it now added another worker to it. So I'm not sure why you needed to grab a worker ID to begin with. Anyways, long story short, having a worker internally allows you to use boundaries seamlessly. Actually, it's perfect. Oh, and another feature that was really cool, alias. So now you can give your targets aliases because prior to, I don't know what version it is, but I remember seeing James using it in the office one time, and he had to know the target ID. So he would send me the target ID, and then I'll use that to log in to the target that I'm trying to log into. Whereas now you can alias your targets. And I'm not sure if mine works straight away because I already have my domain name linked to my home network. So therefore, it says I have local dot my domain name.com, right? So I just did Raspberry Pi dot local dot my domain name, and that's my alias. And as soon as you do that, SSH that, and you just see the session immediately in boundary. That was really cool. So I just that was cool. Just wanted to say.
Yeah, it looks like it's getting more polished because it wasn't that long ago that it was released. It was, 2 years ago, something like that, that it first came out. And they're kind of like adding the bits that make it more usable
Yeah.
as a product now. So you'll see bits coming out, which stuff like the aliases that you're playing with that just make it usable. Whereas before it wasn't really, or it was sort of trickier to use in a sense.
Yeah. I mean, did you use it before? Because I can't tell you whether it's gone better or worse because that was my first intro to it. So yeah.
I kind of used a bit of it. I kind of played around with it when it first came out, but didn't really do a huge amount with it, if that makes sense. So because we set it up internally at work with the guild and played with it a bit there and had a look into it. It's one of those things that if I'd had more time when we did it, definitely would have kind of played with it more, and it's something I keep on meaning to get back to.
Yeah. Another thing I like about it that I really want to try out is the fact that you can record your session. So it allows you to, like, for example, if you log in now into my target, I can then go and check as an admin. I can go check what you've been up to. Like, obviously, I think you saw that as well, right? The where it records everything properly. But the only thing is, in order to set that one up, I needed to give it like where the storage for that. So you can use AWS S3 bucket.
Yeah, they've announced. What's the other one they announced? That I'm going to get my notes out.
Yes,
I still have my little notebook.
yeah, there was another thing that you can now store it into.
Open source.
Yeah, it's called. Hold on, no,
I still have the book. See if it's
oh, you
right,
can check.
write it
Let's see.
down.
Boundary. Actually, you know what? I'm still logged in. Let's see. What is the storage buckets? The new storage bucket. Mean IO. That's it. Yeah.
But you can just host yourself, which is
Yeah.
useful. You don't have to tie yourself to a cloud provider, because although AWS things are nice, the being sort of not tied to a particular provider, it definitely makes things easier.
100%. But yeah, I thought that was cool. Not sure what to do here.
I think the other thing I saw that I enjoyed, as they were kind of pushing more of the sort of federated identity stuff that you see in Vault. So you kind of building out those capabilities. So whereas previously for AWS, you kind of had to give IAM credentials, you now can give sort of a JWTs thing. So you'll give AWS a public certificate for Vault, which then allows you to essentially sign a request for credentials with the private key, and that then gives you the ability to not have those root credentials stored in Vault. You just have a public key in AWS. You sign requests with your private key, you send it to AWS, it then trusts your private key. So you can essentially do kind of ease up that trust network or improve it.
Still have zero trust. Yeah, I didn't pay much attention to the vault part actually. But yeah, I think over for the HashiDay itself, what really excited me was the boundary one, which is why I got into it. I guess that is the benefit of those attending those conference then, because yeah, I didn't realize, because obviously right after that, that's when I was like, oh, I need to try this out.
The big thing for our clients will be the HCP European data centers. Will make a massive difference to data residency. Quite a boring announcements in terms of like engineering stuff, but
yeah,
in terms of actual like recruitment or stuff, it's just so valuable because you don't have to. Your data residency is real good. You can keep everything in Europe. You don't have to worry about. It's easier for the GDPR. There'll still be some issues. I don't know. Do you work with many highly regulated countries when you're deploying stuff?
I mean, I work for a bank, so yeah, I don't know if that answers your question. So yeah, I mean, right now, for example, where I am currently, we only deploy stuff into Island in AWS, and they're also using Terraform Enterprise.
You gotta love a good bit of enterprise.
Yeah, but apparently, some teams within the bank are considering like migrating to TFC. So
Yeah, it depends a little bit. The resource model is slightly better in a way. Yeah, because it depends on how you structure things, but I think the billing per resource instead of billing per workspace, it helps with like encouraging the better patterns of trying to split those state files up into smaller items. We had a recent instance where used console as a backend, and some of our deployments got too large to fit into a single KV entry in console, which was fun. So we then had to we were looking at whether to increase the size of our sort of maximum KV entry in console, which would have a negative performance on the cluster, or migrate backend. We did have an intermediary thing, which I didn't know when I initially set up the backend, but you can compress state files into console. Terraform has it, so it won't actually compress it. I think it saved about 60% of the space, which is cool.
But then what happens when he needs to read it?
Terraform automatically decompresses it. It just gzips it and then unzips it when it reads it. It's sort of native part of the backend plugin, which is nice.
Does that not slow it down?
A little bit, but it's barely noticeable. Like compressing and decompressing a file isn't that large an operation, and they're still not that big. The maximum size that a console KV entry can be is 0.5 meg.
That's not bad.
It did make it harder later that week when we had a bit of corruption in one of our state files, so to go and fix it. So I had to decompress. It actually wasn't really corruption. There's a weird thing in the Vault provider in the way it handles KVV2s, because there's two ways you can define them, which are both seen as like valid definitions in Terraform. One's you have the version as KV-V2. The other one is you have it as the type as KV, and then you have an options block where you specify version equals to you, and they're both valid. We've specified it in the type KVV2, but when you import, it imports it the other way, and because the type's different, it sees it as a breaking change in the resource. So it requires you to rebuild it, essentially.
Nice. Okay. Wow. What else was there for the day? So we mentioned boundary vault. Did they mention anything about Terraform on the day?
There wasn't that much about Terraform from the notes.
No, you have to check your notes.
Yeah, I have to go back to my notebook. There was a sort of, they're kind of realigning to the infra security sort of two pods. So there's I think that one of the top things from my notes is like focusing on platform engineering. So there's a lot more stuff about building out a platform and having your sort of central platform team that provision infrastructure and do stuff like that. Let me have a look. Central, they're moving Terraform into the Terraform Cloud into HCP.
Yeah, HCP Terraform.
Yeah.
But right now they've only renamed it, but it's still like external. Because I think when I logged into HCP and I clicked on it, it just still directed me up.
Yeah. I haven't messed around with our term. I should realize I could have made a better move, but never mind.
Yeah, you could have, but you didn't. Don't worry. my chess game is not that great, so yeah, not that I noticed what the better move was. I could have been.
Just a little rusty.
Yeah, I was never great at this. So.
It's a good thing we're not playing speed chess.
Yeah, nah. James always beats me. He doesn't even try and like beat me on strat. He knows I'll run out of time. So there was the time he was just doing some random moves, and I was just like, "Oh wow, okay, cool." So I kept taking, but because it was so easy, I started having to think a lot more. So yeah. Before you know it, time ran out. I was like, "Wow, he played me. He knew what I'm like." So that's not cool. But yeah, no, I don't do well with any type of chess. Just for reference, I just only started last year. So
Something like that.
yeah.
I used to play when I was younger, never seriously, but kind of learned at a young age, and it's kind of stuck in my mind.
I see.
I wasn't a chess prodigy or anything like that, though. So,
Well.
Another thing that I have, like an interesting note, I guess was the one on the Terraform side, was about the workspaces, and giving like the single pane of glass to query the workspaces in sort of Terraform Cloud.
Yeah, now that I think there was there was like logs. Did they not show us anything about logs? Like,
Yeah.
who's doing what? Some I can't remember, but like now that you mention it, there was there was a little bit more on Terraform. A little bit more. But I guess you didn't take note for that as well.
I took a few notes on Terraform. I think the opening keynotes and stuff, the bits that I skipped over were more the kind of, there's a couple of talks, which are interesting talks about kind of migration to Terraform. But as we've done a lot of Terraform migrations with clients, it's not something that
excited you.
Essentially, it's kind of something we've done before, so I don't necessarily need to take notes on it. I kind of know how to slowly move from on-premise, like kind of ClickOps defined infrastructure, into more sort of structured Terraform.
Fair. I think one of the next videos we should definitely do is a video on how to set up boundary. I mean, it's very easy to set it up if you're connecting to like AWS with a public IP address and all that. But like the challenge I found was because I obviously mine wasn't public; it was private. So how do you do that? So,
yeah, those setting up those tunnels. It kind of goes back to networking and kind of setting it up, and I think learning a little bit about networking can be really helpful.
100%. That's for sure.
As you've been learning with your sort of home networking stuff.
Yeah. This is why I would definitely recommend anybody that wants to like improve in anything really. Just get yourself a Raspberry Pi if you don't want to spend that much money on like you don't have the credit that we received recently on AWS. You can always use Raspberry Pi for that. Because right now I do have a lot of credit in AWS. I plan on mashing it together, as in mixing stuff together now. That'll be good.
For those of you that don't necessarily know, we kind of help out with another talk series called the DevOps Playground, and more behind the scenes in sort of doing the streaming side of stuff. But one of the last ones we did was hosted by someone that's part of the AWS code builders thing. And so part of that is they ended up with quite a bit of credit for AWS.
Yeah. That was good. That was good.
Oh, that was dumb.
Barnaby?
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, I think you've won.
Okay, so at the beginning of this game, Barnaby was like, "Oh, I'm gonna mess up your rating," thinking that he's got this already. Like, remember, you haven't been playing. I've been playing with James, and James is ruthless. So I think you're actually playing very gentle right now. So yeah.
Yeah, I've been pressing about. Oh, I've really screwed this.
Anyways, your queen is gone. You might as well surrender now.
Yeah, I think you can go again because I can't.
What?
You checked me in it as well because I can't get out of it. I'm just suddenly going to lose the
Yeah,
pieces.
exactly. Yeah. So, wait, what? Okay. I mean, what did I win?
Game review.
I just if I win, oh wow, you actually helped me. You know your point. You had actually better point than I did. So you were on 400 and I was 354.
And you got 447.
Now I am on 447 thanks to you deciding
Through your mistakes.
Wait. Oh wait, I can. Oh, I can't share my screen because obviously, actually, yeah, you should still be able to get the free analyze and stuff.
Yeah.
Because you get only one free analyzer a day.
It's the last book move.
Yeah. So where did you go wrong? Where did you go wrong?
G4 is a mistake.
Where?
Oh God, what was
It's so weird looking at it from your perspective here.
I'm trying to figure out what was it. So then this move, yeah, moving that.
Which one?
That
Sorry,
pawn up.
Oh, this one, yeah.
Yeah, it was undefended. Should have done something like that instead.
Oh yeah, I think I took it right.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Try again.
Hold on before we try again, because I can't think properly and just need to quickly think about what else was there.
What were the other bits that you did? I can flick through my moves.
Yeah, in the meantime, yeah.
Yeah, that was clear mistake. Should have pulled further across.
God. Ooh, I think but I can show off. Oh, can you share my screen then?
Yeah, do you want me to pin your screen across? Are you going to show off some of your boundary stuff? Or are you going to show your better?
Yeah, I can show off the boundary setup.
Yeah. So that's all right. I think the control room's just decided to. There we go. That. So we will remove that. So in theory, we should be seeing a boundary stuff.
You should be seeing my empty screen right now.
God, it's been a while since I've set this up.
Oh, you mean changing screen?
Yeah, I've got a few things like looped in, but I think the way the control room's cached or gone, like it had a little blip, so it's lost some of the bits that it thinks are in scene. So.
I just checked live. We are actually still showing.
Still looking at chess, yeah.
Yeah.
Let me just refresh the
because I am not logged in.
There we go. I've fixed the cache now, so it's got the outside view. So let me know when you're
I'm ready.
ready.
Oh, I think I need to reshare. Let me reshare because it's not. But I am ready. Entire screen. Let's do this one instead. Ta-da.
Cool.
All right. So, this is so exciting that I had to showcase it. So, right, but I am new to HCP, to be fair. So just point that out as well, because now that everything is moving towards HCP, I had to get on board. So yeah, and having Boundary up here in terms of cost wise, anybody that's wondering, it's actually free. They charge per session actually. But how they're charging per session, I think somebody mentioned that to me at some point. How they're charging per session. Hold on, let's find out.
That's what I say.
Boundary.
It'll be in the cost somewhere.
Yeah. Pay HCP boundary pricing. There we go. All right.
50 cents a session. That seems quite expensive, but you get 53 per month.
Yeah. Wait, HCP plus. Oh, that's the one I
Got the
that's
90
the one I went.
session.
This is what I signed up to. Oh well. So this is how much they're gonna be taking out of me soon. But assuming I reach my 50 sessions per month, which I doubt. I don't know how they're doing it because I did so many tests yesterday, and out of all of that, it's only 4 sessions it counts.
I wonder if it caches them.
We'll find that in a minute now, because now see in the last, so we can see my sessions, view sessions. Let's see. I'm worried. No, this shows me my okay, billing. Yeah, billing. Because billing yesterday shows you. Yeah, here we go. So boundary. How many sessions? Yeah, 8 sessions. Okay, so it took a while to kick in, but yeah. So 8 sessions. So
that's not too bad.
Just for yesterday, trying to figure it out.
Oh, look at all the credits you've got. You've plenty of time.
Oh, yeah. I think, yeah, but this won't be the only thing I'll be spinning out. So soon this is gonna run out. I wonder if they would top it up. If I'm like,
depends what you're doing with it. If you wanted to do something that was like a cool concept that you're gonna make something like do a blog or stuff about, they probably send you some credit. But if it's just you doing your home lab,
no. But this is demo. To be fair, this is a demo. So this, as you can see, Docker server. So because this allows me then to also SSH into my Docker containers using Boundary. Anyways, one thing I find cool about this is okay, so once you have deployed your cluster using HCP, you are then given a URL, cluster URL, I guess, cluster address. And as part of this, you have to set up an initial admin user. So mine is just simple wallet, and then I give it some complex password 123, something like that. Anyways, yeah, don't worry. By the time this goes live on YouTube, it would have been changed.
Maybe one day I'll spin up the Kali Linux instance and see if you let me into your network how far I can kind of spread.
You won't get far. You won't get far. Promise. Anyways, moving on to why we're here. So, quick intro to Boundary. What is Boundary actually? We've been talking about it, but we haven't really said what it is.
That's a good point. It's for sort of human to machine access. So it's meant to kind of give you more granular access to machines. So instead of having very complex SSH setup, you kind of have a Boundary setup, which is fairly simple for users. They'll have their identity within Boundary, and then that identity will be allowed access to hosts.
To services now as well, because according to the new features, you can also use that now to log into GitHub, for example. I'm not sure if it's logging into GitHub or to actually just go onto the page. I need to look at it properly.
I can't remember. You don't. Do you need a boundary agent running on the server, or is it
You
to
mean for
use
the
it,
GitHub part?
or just to connect, or is it? Can you do it through SSH with the dynamic credentials?
No, so I don't have any agent running on my client right now at all.
So you just use Boundary to manage your kind of credentials. So the Boundary has credentials to your client, and then when you log into Boundary, it uses those credentials
Exactly.
to log
So,
in.
but I haven't really delved into this part that you're talking about, which is, as you can see, I put myself into admin, so I have max rights right here. But I guess one of the benefits that you mentioned is the fact that as soon as, let's say, if I give you access, as soon as you log in, you will then have access to all the services that you have been assigned as a user. So
Yeah, you can. There are other ways to do sort of SSH RBAC, but it's quite a nice one, and it ties in really well with Vault. So that's when it starts to kind of shine a little bit more, because instead of having to worry about having credentials stored in Boundary, I don't know if you've. I guess HTTP Boundary might do the Vault stuff
yes,
intuitively. Yeah,
so it allows you now. You could set up, so
I
one as
don't.
part of my setup, actually, I could have a vault instance as well. And then if so right now what I've done is actually good that you mentioned that. What I've done is I actually created the credentials that I'm using to log into my Raspberry Pi. I manually entered it in here, whereas I could have just told it to go grab that credential from Vault straight away.
Yeah, you set up an SSH secrets engine in Vault, and you can dynamically inject sort of short-lived SSH credentials, whether those be certificates or one-time passwords,
Yeah.
into the session.
So as you can see here, for example, the Pi 0, and then you can see the credentials. So I'm happy to show this because it's actually the way I log into my Raspberry Pi is just through the key, SSH key. So I give it a private key, and then that's it.
Yeah,
So
so quite an easy migration to start off with. You can set up private key, and then once you get it, I'd like to look into SSH stuff more. So I saw some people doing weird things with SSH secrets engines and sort of PAM on the servers. They're essentially, I think, like fiddling around. I think it's the PAM file, but they changed it so you could, instead of using an SSH OTP to SSH to a server, use the SSH OTP to elevate to root instead. So you'd already be on the server, you'd generate a SSH one-time password and use that for root to elevate to root.
so when you need, so you get basic access first, but whenever you need root, then you can always ask for
Yeah,
it.
you ping Vault for a credential, it gives you a one-time password, and then you use that to elevate instead of having to
That's quite
SSH to
good.
root. Yeah.
It helps for auditing as well, actually. Just like the recording part helps. But one thing I was impressed with Boundary for, that I thought, oh my god, the way I imagine Boundary to work is that if you want to connect to a target, you need to have Boundary on the target as well. Turns out you don't. So as long as you give it, like you have given it the way to log in, it will figure it out itself. So if you yourself don't have access to that box, then I don't see how Boundaries can also have access to it, basically. Because if I didn't give it the only way I can log into my Raspberry Pi Zero is using the private key. That's it. Sorry, I said right private key, but like I mean using my SSH key basically, because that's the only way I set it up.
You could set things up in a way that you had like a golden image from Packer that had credentials baked in that was only the Boundary had, if you're doing it in the cloud.
Yeah, so
Like that.
that's but no, actually with that, actually, if you, especially AWS, I don't think you need to do anything there, because all you can give Boundary the credential, you can give it its own AWS credential, right? So then you can always get dynamic hosts, because I think that's why this host catalog is here for. Because it's good that you mentioned that. So you have the dynamic, and then you pick AWS or Azure, and then see, bam, bam, and then I guess from here on you can then probably then say look for only these tags or something like that.
Should go back to Azure at some point. I haven't played with it for such a long time. It
remember
seems to be this neglected cloud out of the big three.
our first project, you joined that project as an Azure expert. Right now,
I don't think I haven't used it since.
uh,
I can just about remember some of the names of things.
yeah, nah.
It wouldn't take that long to get back up to speed, but it's been a while.
100%. That's good. Right. So with under the targets, as you can see here, it tells you what type of login it is, which is SSH. I don't have any active sessions, and this is normally so. This is my target ID. So this is what I would have had to use if I wanted to SSH into Boundary. But then
You got
now,
the alias set up now.
yeah, which I can also show off a little bit. Where is the alias? Oh, here it is. As you can see, pi0.local.salamibuilds.com. So, and then enable recording. I never actually saw this. That I could enable it there.
You need to give it an S3 bucket, I think.
And no, let's find out. Enable session recording for target. Record sessions for this target. Yes. I don't want to use a bucket. I just wanted to save it onto my
admin storage. You'll have to give it a storage bucket somewhere.
So I guess I have to go set that one up first, and then I can select it from here, because that's the same thing with, see, all this credential I did here. I didn't add them through here. I had to go create the credentials here first, and then I was able to then assign them to the target itself.
I think if you had a bucket set up, you might just be able to, you wouldn't necessarily have to have it linked to Boundary. It looks like you might just be able to do it through there, but let's have show us the fancy stuff that we're here to see with the connection.
Awesome. Okay, so here it is, storage bucket. But yeah, so what we are here to see is, hold on, where is my okay. So this is my terminal. I think, let's see, this is the part that we're about to find out, right? So my boundary that I have locally is this. So the client that I had to install. I'm not logged in here. So, but my client is still running. So what happens if I just try to log in like this?
I think you should just be able to SSH to, yeah.
Yeah, so like this. No, could not resolve. Also, I do not have, I haven't exported my boundary address as well. So I probably should do that as well. Export boundary.
The fact that you've reset your DNS just before we started streaming as well might be messing with this.
Oh, yes. Yep, we're about to find out. This is why we can troubleshoot, right? Okay, so, but before this, actually, I'm thinking, let me not log in here. But this is a good way to show you guys, actually. So let's log in as well. But to do that, I need to grab the cluster URL. I think this should do. Yeah, well, here. I think this should be fine. Let's see. So export boundary. I think ADDR. I think that's how they do their stuff, right?
Yeah, that's the standard pattern.
Yeah. And then I can now do boundary authenticate. Boom. And then Wale. Bam. So what's my password, guys?
You tap 1, 2, 3, 4 out on your keyboard and
yes, but I can just copy and paste it. So boom. Okay, so now we're successfully logged in. Now if we were to do this, okay, it didn't fail immediately, and we're logged in. Now that we're logged in, we could probably see active sessions. So if we were to go in here and then sessions, that's interesting.
I wonder if it takes a minute to pick it up.
Yes, it is. And that's it here. So this is the active session. What I do like about it is this part where,
Can you terminate the session?
yep, I can terminate from here. Like once I do that, I'm logged out here as well. So this one is more instant, as in like if I was to use the client on my laptop itself, you get to see a bit more in terms of like as soon as I'm connected, it picks it up, so you get to see what's happening. So
Oh, that wasn't 1, 2, 3, 4.
there was a bit more.
What, the rest of the top line?
I'm not saying what it is. More to it. So as you can see here, but this one thing I like about it as well is that you can do so in here, for example, if I do connect, and assuming I do not want to go into my own terminal, I can just do shell. And then I think this is a timer for how long my session is for. 8 hours, basically.
Yeah, it makes sense if it kills sessions automatically.
Yeah. So as you can see here, I can log in like this as well. So I have the internal terminal within the client itself. And then if I do wanted to log in with, like, it gives you this option as well, because this is now connected, right? So I can just do this and then come in here. And that will also give me a session. So yes.
Do you still have our like old CA knocking around on this Pi, or is that a different Pi? Or have you wiped it?
It is the same Pi. But I decided to reuse how do you say this? Recycle it for other use now. So because I have two Pis, the bottom one is now a permanent Pi hole, and then the top one is just for demos purposes like this now. So we could generate new certs here, but why do you need certs?
I was just curious if it still lived. I don't think we use it for anything. We've forgotten rid of it out of all the console code.
Oh, one thing I did find out. Check this out. So because initially I thought you needed to have boundary installed on the target, right? So that's why I did. So this is a Pi Zero that is the first gen, the Pi Zero W or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
So let's install boundary on it and see what happens.
Because they IPO'd recently, Raspberry Pis.
Yes, they did. And they went up actually, but I'm not sure what their what it is now. What the price is now. Boundary install.
Yes. Fun company. I remember when they first got going, seeing that the little boards with just some pins. And it's the program.
Yeah, not anymore. All right, so we found the install. So firstly, you need to I think this is downloading okay, let's see, what do we have here? Okay, cool. So this one gets us, what is this doing?
You're downloading key rings
and then adding it, I think. Okay. All right.
GPG keys. I wonder if it's so you can verify it.
I think it's so I can add HashiCorp to my repositories.
I wonder if it's so HCP can connect.
No, I doubt it. I think it's just so I can add. So because right now, initially, if I had immediately just did sudo apt install boundary, that wouldn't work, right?
Oh, it's through apt.
Yeah. So the way I'm going to do this now is, now that's done. So now I can just do sudo apt install boundary, and now it will work.
How do you flash your Pi? Does it ever need to like reset if you need to just wipe it?
It's so simple to do. I have this thing called Raspberry Pi imager.
Okay.
So as I'm doing that, actually, I can immediately inject the SSH key into it. So then I'm not enabling username and password. I'm immediately enabling just SSH key, and then also I have a lot of Ansibles now. So it actually takes me no time to like refresh my Pi now.
We converted you to be a full-time Ansible user.
100%, 100%. So when I installed OpenMedia Vault on my other Raspberry Pi, I literally the first time I didn't even normally I would install it normal first. But the first install was with Ansible, and yeah, that was good. So now even any time I wanted to do something, because I need to reinstall that as well, because yeah, I did some because I was trying to get to know Portainer, but I didn't like how I set everything up, so I want to flash everything and start again. So yeah,
I'm trying to think how far through the IBM takeover that I think that had come out the last time we streamed. I don't think we chatted about it that much. It'd be interesting to see where they go with it. The papers haven't been signed yet, but because IBM also own Red Hat, and Ansible was a Red Hat product, to see if that integration improves, because there's a few community modules in Ansible for Hashi products. It'd be interesting to see how they integrate more, because Ansible integrates quite well with Packer already, but it'd be interesting to see.
it's cool. It will be interesting because then that means everything will be from one company that we use. Ansible, Terraform. What else do we use? Vault as well.
I guess the only stuff that will be the cloud watch stuff. Not CloudWatch. What's it called?
What do you mean?
Oh, my brain is just putting a complete blank. Cloudflare. That's
yeah. What do we? The only thing we use Cloudflare for right now is the tunnel stuff, right? But soon enough, we're gonna move away from that. So
yeah, GCP was hosting our infrastructure.
We then moved to IBM.
We're gonna move to IBM Cloud.
I
don't think I've never seen anyone use IBM Cloud. I remember messing around with, I think, Oracle Cloud for a while, because when I was using it, their free tier was quite good. So it was like it could host like a Minecraft server on their free tier servers. Whereas if you want to do something like that with AWS, not a chance.
You get the T2 micro. Yeah, so I think I'm exposing my internet speed right now in this stream. Oh gosh.
One day.
Yeah. So just FYI, I have moved to a higher speed, but for some reason I was having issues with that on my laptop, which is why I moved back to my old one, because currently I have two internet provider running. Okay, but with the old one being Sky, the new one being Virgin. Sky was great. It's just for my area here, they just don't have the speed I need anymore, which is why I decided to go for Virgin, because Virgin was the only one that offered the speed I wanted. Actually, not really wanted, because I wanted 1 gig, but instead I'm getting 500 meg. So
you need the full fiber.
No.
I
reached out. I reached out to one. Are you on Community Fiber or?
Yeah.
Yeah, I emailed them. They never got back to me. So I called them, and then they said, "Yeah, no, they're not coming. They're not coming here." So yeah. As you can see, we have moved past this topic, and I only just managed to get the page up and running about the IBM free cloud account. Oh wow. 40 always free products. Always. Wait, is that not similar to AWS?
Watson.
40
I
plus.
forgot about Watson.
And then use 200 cloud credit. That could get you a long way.
We should, once we get kind of our sort of workflows a bit more established, start looking at multi-cloud as well, because there's no reason why we can't host a multi-cloud, and then we can just try and do it so we're absolutely hammering sort of spot instances and free tier and just migrating things around to be like minimal cost.
So that was my next thing that I was gonna try, but at least now I know I don't think that's gonna be possible. So I was gonna create either a Nomad instance here or console and see if I can link it up to what we have in GCP, see if it would work. But obviously I don't know how that tunnel, Cloudflare tunnel is gonna work because it's only, I think, is it called bidirectional? Right?
Bidirectional.
Yeah, as in like 1, 2, right? Like it only
Yeah.
goes this way. So like now, if I now wanted to join Cloudflare as well, I don't think that would work.
You can have multiple tunnels. You might have to you have to be careful with like your network routes essentially for stuff. And where the egress was. So you'd probably have a centralized egress, but the platform behind it would be sort of distributed across multi-cloud. I guess you could have multiple egresses. It would be like ingress egresses. Yeah, you could have a server in each cloud provider and have an ingress into that, and it just randomly, depending on which endpoint. It'd be the tricky bit would be the bit you sat in front of it all, where your kind of load balancer was. You'd have to. That'd be an interesting bit of hosting to get it to balance between all three, or do like nearest point.
That's the thing. Yeah, that's the experiment we need to do next. It would be good to find out. But I didn't know that you could create. I mean, I know you could create multiple tunnels, but I didn't know you could create them to point to one place. Oh, good news! Boundary has finished installing on the Raspberry Pi Zero. So, are you ready to test it out?
Go on, show us how it works.
So, for those that can't see from home, hold on.
A legal instruction.
Yeah, so I'm thinking this is a bug because it shouldn't be like this. Because I think I had Vault on this before, so I don't know why, unless this new version doesn't allow, doesn't work with.
If you do boundary --v, do you get any like just information
Oh,
back, like man boundary?
Also, remember, HashiCorp doesn't do dash for version. It's just boundary version. So whatever you do, anything you do.
If you do man boundary, do you get anything back?
Oh, my manual.
Something different, but
Yeah.
not helpful.
I'm not sure if -h works, but nah.
Legal instruction.
I need to figure out how to raise
I feel like that's a Pi, might be a Pi thing. If you do you have access to execute that? If you like which boundary, do you have access to execute it? Should do.
So there was a command to find out what I'm on.
What architecture is your CPU on the Pi? Is it a 32-bit one or is it 64?
I think this is 32-bit.
You've probably got a 64-bit architecture. Does Boundary have a 32-bit?
No, it will tell you what you picked right here. It says here. Yeah, they have 32-bit as well. But I don't think that's it because I did try yesterday. I tried different ones. So I tried 32, and then they also have one that doesn't have anything on it. It just says boundary. So that as well, that doesn't work.
It's ARM 64, AMD 64. The 386 one, is that a 32-bit? I don't know. My knowledge of like architectures of CPUs are, I know kind of what the current ones are, and I know sort of 32-bit and small ones existed, but I don't know that much. So you're a Pi 0.
ARM v6L. I don't know if that's it. Is that any?
So ARM is, I don't think, yeah, you won't have an ARM.
Okay, I think this is better.
Processor architecture.
So this one tells you, yeah, ARM v6L. I don't know what that is, but yeah.
V6. God. There's a way you can see which CPU version. If you cat proc CPU info.
Sorry, what?
If you cat your processor / CPU info, you'll be able to see your what architecture you have. Let me dump it in Discord for you. So, still, my brain's still in Windows mode, copying and pasting the wrong way.
Proxy. Oh, didn't know that one. Let's see. Proc CPU info. Boom.
ARM 6 compatible processor. Does it tell you what? Programs, features, CPU architecture 7. I guess did you pull an ARM package when you downloaded it on the? Did it say?
Sorry, James was messaged. What'd you say?
I'm not fully watching. You can download the 32-bit version.
Yes, sir. Actually, I did yesterday. I tried different versions. I mean, yeah. Today, I think, which version did I go for straight away? I mean, if I'm using APT to install, I'm assuming it would go for the right version straight away, right?
Depends how APT is set up. You would probably want just the regular ARM one, which isn't Linux ARM and not 64.
So yeah, I use the release page to do that as well. So I think install release.
Oh, I get you might be able to do a 64-bit OS.
Yeah.
Depends what image you put on
it. It is Raspberry Pi Lite.
Well, I think maybe it might be worthwhile leaving this here. I was having fun messing around with all the bits, but it's going to be a while before we get that to work with the debugging.
Yeah, nah, it's fine anyways. So this was an issue I encountered yesterday initially before I started going through the manual to know that, oh, you don't actually need to have boundary installed on the target. So yeah, either way, as you can see, I'm able to use boundary with this regardless. So that's
God, my caching thing just ain't working today.
All right. So as you can see, part of the cool part with Boundary ending session. Ooh. And
Shutting it all down.
yeah. So yeah, that's it done.
Yeah, I guess thank you for watching, everyone. It's a bit less structured than they normally are. That's saying a lot considering how structured we start off with. But I think it's been fun just chatting and going through a few bits that we've messed around with.
Oh, hold on. And beating you at chess at the same time. Just remember to add that to it as well, because you assumed it would be an easy win. But
I'll have to sort of go and practice and come back
yeah.
and crush you next time.
Good luck with that.
You don't know how like dedicated I can get to certain things when I put my mind to it. You'll just see me. You won't see me for 2 weeks. It's just
Do you know
playing
why
chess.
I know that that's not going to happen? Is because I know your project is very demanding currently. So good luck with that.
I've got a holiday to go on soon. Just
Yeah.
sit on the beach with a chess set. Anyway, thank you for watching, everyone, and we will catch you all next week. And hopefully, we should be able to catch you on Saturday for a game stream as well. To get back to that carry
Thank
on
you
our
for joining
Minecraft
us.
run. One day you might come and join those as well, but we'll see. Yeah, then. Until next time. Thanks for watching. Bye.